Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. Hope you got to spend some time with your family and friends and relaxing and chilling out. Got to enjoy the day. Um, I'm Scott Mulcher, the Million Dollar Landscaper, and tonight I wanted to hop in here and talk to you a little bit about some of the mistakes we see landscapers make when it comes to estimating. If you follow us or know anything about us, we talk about knowing your numbers all the time. It's one of the biggest things that we see landscapers not knowing. They just don't know what they don't know. And one of the things we talk about and preach about all the time is knowing your numbers. And like I said, we talk about the some of the mistakes we see. And tonight I wanted to go over one of those mistakes in particular. And one of them is labor. So I like to tell people labor is their taxation on labor. It is all the extra cost that goes into an employee. We see many landscapers all the time that will say, I pay my employee 15, 18, 20, 25 bucks an hour, 30 bucks an hour, whatever you're paying them, and think that's it. Or you might understand, well, I understand there's the FICA, the FUTA, the SUTA, and the additional little cost that goes into it, but there's actually more costs than that many of us leave out or don't think about or don't totally understand or know how to actually account for, and such things as paid time off. So if you give your employees vacation time, you give your employees sick days or anything like that, that goes into labor, and that is an additional cost to your business. And if you aren't charging your customers for it, you're losing out. So we need to make sure we understand all that. Another big thing that goes into labor is if you offer any types of health benefits. If you offer, say, any insurance, if you have like a teledoc service, if you give that as a bonus to your team, as having like a little teledoc service. If you're not familiar with teledoc is a doctor that you basically call up on the phone and have a video chat with them about whatever your symptoms are. And that is a nice additional bonus that you can give to your people, but it's an additional cost, of course, and we need to be charging for that. Another thing is uniform. So if you offer car, or I'm sorry, not car, but if you give any clothing allowance, if you give boot allowance, you can even go into safety glasses and gloves and jackets, and those types of things, again, are additional costs. So it goes into more of that labor. Another good example is if you offer retirement plans. I'm trying to think what other things I've seen that people have done. Actually, let me pull up the spreadsheet that I have here. I know something's slipping my mind. Sorry, bear with me one sec. So retirements, uniforms, but that's pretty much it. If you offer any types of additional things like PPE or anything that you give your employees, anything benefits you give your employees, that is another labor and cost. And you need to be able to calculate all that out and figure out what you need to charge accordingly for that. This is something that can easily just kind of get pushed to the side and you never really think about. So if you're not charging for it, it is coming out of your profits, and it's just coming out at the end of the year. At the end of the year, when you go talk to your accountant and they say you didn't make any money this year, you're like, where did my money go? I thought I was making money every job, but I wasn't making money. Where did it all go? So it is one of those things you really have to have a good grasp, a good understanding of what goes into labor. So tonight, I kind of want to share with you a calculator that we have inside our academy. Let me pull it up here. And let me know if you have any questions about labor and what goes into it. Let me know. Put it in the chat session. So there we get it up here. So this right here is our labor and calculator. And we go in and we want to figure out, our FICA, FUTA, SUTA, all those types of things, workman's comp. And one thing with workman's comp, you have to watch, because you could have different workman's comp rates for different team members. So if you have like a tree service, that's going to be different than lawn maintenance. So there's different comp rates. We need to be calculating those out appropriately. You can have general liability can go under here. Umbrella policies can go under here if you have those as well. And then we want to have a different labor burden for our admin team versus our field labor team, because there's different workman's comp rates for those. You might offer different benefits and different things for the admin side versus your field labor. So we want to be able to count that. So the nice thing, if we go into one of these calculators here, we can easily put in. So if I'll put Scott, and we're going to say that we're paying them $18 an hour, and they're working 40 hours per week, and they work about, we'll just say they get about 10 hours of overtime, and they work 32, we'll just say 32 weeks per year. And you can put in whatever. Now, if you have additional tax, local tax rate, like here we're from in Indiana, there is a Lake County tax we have to put on our team members. So you can put that in here. Oh, I did not put in all our stuff here. I do have to go put in here. I'm just going to make some numbers up just for right now, just so everything works together and works properly. But now you can start seeing, we start calculating up all of our information here. Sorry, I have to get this in here. And again, I'm just making up some numbers for today, but we'll say it's 3%, 303%. So we go in and we can start seeing it starting to calculate up everything for our workman's comp, our FICA, FUTA, SUTA, all those types of things. And then we have our workman's comp over here. If we have a general liability, that would be in here too. But this again is additional cost. You have umbrella policies. And then again, if you offer any types of benefits, so just say you offer this employee, you give them, we'll say $1,000 per year for insurance. If you have retirement, you put in here, but we'll say uniforms. Uniforms are a pretty common thing that we give our team members. So if you offer them, you purchase them shirts and pants and boots and stuff like that, you might have $300 wrapped up into an employee. And then you decide, I'm going to give them insurance, I'm sorry, vacation this year, but I'm going to give them 1 week. So we'll say 40 hours, and I'm going to give them 2 sick days. We'll say 16 hours. So we actually go a little bit further here in the academy. We want to figure out, we even go into the productivity of those employees. No employee is working 100% of the time, all the time. It's impossible. There's, breaks, it's hot, they need to get some water, or it's cold out the side, they have to warm up. So we actually have a percentage that helps calculate that out and take that into account. There's other factors that goes into the employees not working all the time. But when all said and is done, you can now look and say that employee that was making $18 an hour, if you start looking at just a normal rate is $22.80. Or if they work overtime, it's now $31.80. So if you are only charging for that employee at $18 an hour, you are losing out. We go a little bit further. We have a couple of factors down here, but you can see with total wage with field labor, I'm sorry, total wage with labor, and comes to $32.03 for that employee. So again, if you are just kind of leaving things on the table and not charging enough, you're only charging $18 an hour, you're losing out. And I hate to see such hardworking landscapers like yourself, not calculate all those in. So again, this is just one of those factors that can go into not making enough money, not making the profits that you desire and deserve because you're not charging enough for your labor. So I encourage you to go through and really look at all your employees, look at all the benefits you provide them. Even if you think it's just uniforms, well, those add up, especially if you start having multiple employees. So it's very important for you to sit down and kind of look at all your employees, figure out what goes into all that having those employees, and find out what your true costs are, because it adds up very, very quickly. Some other thing I do wanted to kind of cover up tonight was we do have our upcoming um, numbers course, our estimating course, I should say. It used to be called the numbers course. That is coming up on January 21st and 22nd. I'd love to have you part of it. Inside this, we're going to dive deep into the labor, and we're going to dive deep into those other mistakes we mentioned earlier. So such as the equipment, understanding what equipment costs. That one's always a mind-blowing one. We're going to go into overhead and go in truly what overhead is. And I'm going to do a whole nother live on what overhead is, because I see this over and over again in the Facebook groups where people aren't understanding what overhead is. So we're going to go into that and kind of go into the details of what overhead is and what overhead isn't. So we'll be talking about that. And then once you have all those numbers, then you can actually apply all those numbers into your estimating system. So again, January 21st, 22nd, we're going to teach you all those numbers. And then 22nd, we're going to dive into creating an estimating system based on those numbers. We're going to give you all the calculators. We're going to give you all the spreadsheets and all the knowledge you need for that. And if you sign up for this numbers course, you're going to have access to all these courses. You're going to have lifetime access to these courses. Just to kind of give you an example here, if you look at under numbers, you're going to get access to all of these courses here that are inside the academy. So you'll have access to the number costing um, videos here. So we have 4 different videos on that, plus the calculators that you can download and start using right away. It makes it very quick and very very much a time saver. You'll have access to a couple other things inside the academy here, but mainly the numbers course, the estimating course, you're going to get all access to all this. So you're going to learn again what all your numbers are, and you're going to be able to apply these to an estimating system that you'll choose. So you have access to the SOARs, DOORs, and MOREs. I have admin access, so I see a couple other ones we have in the academy, but you'll have access to SOARs, DOORs, and MOREs estimating systems. You'll be able to apply those numbers directly to that. Again, we give you all the spreadsheets, we give you all the calculators in here. And you'll have access to, again, all these the spreadsheets and calculators, so you can be able to quickly put together estimate. And we have versions for estimating irrigation, we have versions for estimating landscaping, we have estimating systems for lawn maintenance. So we basically made it very, very quick and easy for you to put together an estimate, because time is very important. When you are out there selling to a customer, it is so important to get that estimate put together very quickly, because when you're talking to them, you're getting them excited, you're getting them pumped up. And the faster you can get that estimate out to them, the better chance you have on selling that job. If you have to go back and put it all together and figure it all up, that's more time for them to start considering, well, maybe I don't want to do this, or maybe you're not the right person. So the better chance you have of getting the estimate done right then and there, the better chance you have on closing that sale. So that's one nice thing about having an estimating system like that. That's totally customizable to your business. You can quickly put these together. So again, if you join the numbers course, you have lifetime access to all these courses we talk about. Again, we actually go into reading those financials. So if you're not sure what your numbers are and how to even figure them out, we're going to tell you. We have courses on understanding what your P&L is, what your balance sheet is. So you're going to be able to understand all that. And we're fortunate enough to have and partner with Cycle CPA, and they actually have done some courses in here on understanding some of these different financials and how to actually go in and do analysis of a P&L statement. So it's a great training. Again, this is available through the numbers course, or actually if you join the academy, you get access to all the courses in here. But for the numbers course alone, you get access to all that. And then we're going to go over labor and average wage, understanding equipment costing, your overhead, what hours are, because production hours are so important to be able to do an estimate. And then we're going to get into putting together all those numbers into the estimating system, so you'll have access to all that. So I just kind of want to show you guys some of the things that you have access to if you join the Profitable Estimating course. Again, it's happening January 21st and 22nd. If you guys sign up today, click where it says milliondollarlandscaper.com/early bird. You get $200 off. So we're going to save you $200 on this program. Price is going to go up on January 15th. So it ends January 14th at midnight. After that, the courses go up to its normal price. So get in early, sign up early, get in this course. The course can save your life. It can save your family life and really change the way you do business. You have to charge what you have to charge. I know many people start going on, well, I have to know the going rate. I have to know what my competitors are doing. Now, don't get me wrong. It's important to see that you're not like way overcharging or something, or way undercharging, but you have to charge what you have to charge. And this system is going to tell you a break-even point. You're going to understand how low you can go before you lose money. It's going to help you figure out how much time you're going to have on that job. So you can go tell your crew leaders, hey, we have this many man hours figured for this job. We need to get it done in that time. So this system gives you a lot. We have job costing built into it. We have job work orders you can give to your team, so your team knows exactly what they need to load up in the morning, what they need to gather, what supplies are figured for this job. So we have all compiled together in our estimating system. So again, the courses happen January 21st and 22nd. Love to have you part of it. We're going to have some people on here in a few weeks talking about the program and what they've gone and how it has affected them and what they've learned through the program. So I'd love to have you guys part of that. Join us on the next couple of weeks. Again, I'm not sure a date yet. We're still trying to hammer out the details, but again, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about some of these more numbers, some of these other numbers we're going to get into, equipment costing, overhead, production hours, and why they matter. We're actually going to go over and talk about net profit versus gross profit, because I think there's some misunderstanding. Some people don't understand what the difference between net profit and gross profit, or they get it confused and they're not sure. So we're going to go over all that. We're also going to go about talking about some of the numbers that we see when people talk about the net profit and gross profit. They say we need to shoot for 50% gross profit. Well, kind of get into a little bit here, I guess, but it all depends on how that person has their accounting system laid out. There are no standards. There are some guidelines of how somewhat should be laid out, but there's no like industry standards. You lay it out this way, and you're going to get the same numbers. You can't. It won't happen unless everybody has the exact same accountant or there's industry standards. So there's none. So what I'm getting to is when you hear people say, I have 50% gross profit or whatever they're saying, well, it just depends on how their stuff's laid out. And what I mean by this is if you look at a P&L statement, you're going to see what your cost of goods are. So typical cost of goods should be your equipment, your labor, your material, subs, if you have any subs that go in there. And that's your typical cost of goods. Well, what we see is sometimes is some accountants will put the equipment down into overhead in the lower section of the P&L. And what that does, it throws those numbers off because they don't have all the equipment up there. So I'm a huge fan of having all your equipment up there because it is part of the job. You have to rent out your time for that equipment. You rent out that equipment basically to the customer. So again, we're going to get into all that in the next couple of weeks. So definitely stay tuned. So if you're wanting to learn your numbers, want to know what you need to charge and understand how low you can go, on the jobs and when to say no, then you need to get in this numbers course. It's going to be a life-changing event for you. It can definitely help set your business up for success. We've had, I don't know how many hundreds of landscapers go through our programs and understand their numbers, coming out at the end, understanding the numbers of what they need to charge, and they're gaining so much more confidence. It's awesome to see what these people are getting to when they get out there talking to the customer. They can exude confidence to the customer, and it comes out, and they're selling more work off of it because they can say yes or no on the job. They can tell them what it's going to be, and confidently not have to worry about the that they underbid the job or they possibly overestimated the job because they know everything's laid out in the system. So if you guys have any questions about it, feel free to post it in the comment section. The other thing I will say is if you do join the Academy, you have access to like our contracts and change orders and a couple other things that are in the Academy that are not available in the estimating course. So again, guys, I'd love to have you in this course. Again, it's January 21st, 22nd. Hope you guys can join us. It's going to be something that can definitely help your business grow and help your livelihood and live a happier and better life. So, all right, gang, hope you have a great night and we'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.